I'm Julie. I'm a learning consultant with Wolf Learning. And as you'll learn in a moment, Wolf Learning is a small agency and we are dedicated entirely to animal health. So this is something that's really, really at the heart of what we do. So what do we exist to do? This is our tagline. You'll find if you go to our website. Impactful and innovative learning. We are purely animal health. That's one thing in our backpack. So we know animal health, we know vets, we have vets on our staff, one of them is Greg, got 2 others in the team of 10, so that's quite good. And we exist to create learning, not for its own sake, but for impact, right? So we want to make learning part of the impact that you are trying to create. Now we work with lots of different organisations, education being one of them, but as Greg has already explained, if you come to our desk, you can see some, one of the big projects that we've done with Vet University in Paris. But we work with other animal health businesses as well, typically big pharma companies, nutrition companies, and so on. Those guys. And typically it's to support what they're doing in terms of their product campaigns. That could be product training for sales teams, or it could be learning materials that will go directly to their customers, i.e. vets or veterinary decision makers and clinic groups and so on, so to speak. So that's what we exist to do. Who are we? Where are we? As I said, we're about, I think it's 11 of us now, it's changing. And we're already international, so that's the next thing in our backpack. We're global. And every single day, I talk to people in France, they talk to people in the UK. So we cross country, language, time zone, like all the time, every day. So we have a sort of global and international outlook baked into everything that we do. It's part of what we are. And Greg, who's sitting in the middle over there, he's the founder of Wolf, founded the company about 11 years ago. And really with that inspiration of feeling like we need to bring innovation into learning. We need to think about not being afraid of digital tools. We need to kind of bring it not just for content, but for real impact. And that's about human interactions and things like that. So that's really what's brought us here to VetEd today. So kind of what we do is very hard to explain it all. But as I've said, we're being completely animal health led. We are deep into what's going on with veterinary practices in different countries, different areas. We're into what products are coming out, what challenges are being faced with vets. We know that the UK has had a really challenging time the last year or two with not only with the CMA, but just general stuff going on. And different products coming out, everything's moving so fast, and yet everybody's still very, very challenged, with budgets, with resources and things like that. So our job is to just figure out how we can help to meet those challenges in learning. And that's where expertise in learning comes in. That's my background. I've come from a learning strategy and consulting background. I've done quite a lot in human health pharma training. That's going back a long way, from the days of just when Storyline just came out, so, aging me a little bit. But yeah, expertise in learning is so key. And this is something that we really want to bring as another item in our backpack, is to really understand the depth of learning practice and bringing that into digital tools. And as we've heard about, using AI and things like that, it's almost too easy sometimes, sometimes we kind of forget the integrity that we need to do that. And the innovation is, of course, why we're here today. A little bit of a sense of who we work with. We'd love to add more UK universities onto our partnership list. We already have 1 or 2 that we work with very closely in France, and we've got some organisations like NOAA, Veterinary Marketing Association that you will have possibly heard of in the UK as well, and lots of global ones as well, so the partner companies as I've mentioned. But always growing, always flexing to where the needs of the animal health business take us, basically. So we're quite well grounded in that area. So the fun part then, you can see demos of all of these and possibly a few more if you come to our desk. You've probably already visited us and had a quick look. Just a little flavour of the kind of things that we do, and a lot of it is collaboration. So again, back to Liz's presentation yesterday, not just what's in the backpack, but how you can get, even more value from collaborating with others. So for example, the one on the bottom, ultrasound simulation, that's not something we developed or invented, but it is something we can wrap really valuable learning around, knowing how people can grow and absorb and really become competent in this kind of thing. And the one on the top left is where we collaborated with an organisation, again in France, to develop a virtual reality-based immersive tour of a livestock establishment, how a vet can really understand how it works and that they can integrate really well with their consults, diagnostic decisions and so on. And then the last one on the top right is something that you've probably already seen a little bit of already, where we are looking at our clinical case of our lovely cat Simba. If you haven't met Simba yet, please come and meet Simba and what's going on with their symptoms. And as you can see, the clinical case embeds within it a really powerful, very, very human-like AI exercise in there. And we'd really love to show you more about how that could work for you as well. So those are just 3 examples of the direction of travel that we're going. But we don't only just do that. You know, there are lots of other ways we can build strategy and think about platforms, and actually platform and passing to you the autonomy of creating something like this is actually where we're going. And we're really actively looking for collaborators in the education space to help us test it, help us uncover what works, what we need to develop differently, and so on like that. So we're definitely open to that kind of conversation. You know, we're looking for collaboration, information and insights. We're not looking necessarily to make a big sale at the moment. You know, we're looking for finding out where we can help you guys the best and build the best solution. So keep that in mind. And one of the other things that you will see at our exhibition stand is what we are calling Squill AI, is our AI range of, I want to say products, but solutions and experiences that we've developed. Come and see our dermatology one. It's the one we developed first, and I think it's very, very relevant for training vets. And some of you have already seen that, so I'm not going to go through it. But basically, think about these different applications that could resonate with what you do. How can a vet recommend a new diagnostic test? How can they deliver some difficult news? How can they justify, let's say, a diagnostic test that costs a little bit more than the pet owner might have been expecting? How can they recommend a good treatment and all those things? All of those things are challenging conversations. And soft skills training is wonderful and it's great. Sometimes it's a bit separate from the clinical stuff. When we talk about a new diagnostic tool or process, for example, it's not just about the tool. It's about the workflow in the clinic. It's about how you describe that to a pet owner. How do you interpret the results? How do you break that news? All of that's part of understanding how we use diagnostics in the clinic. It's not just the process and then, oh, by the way, how can we have conversations? We want to bring all those together. So that is the essence of what we are. Through innovation, this is basically who we are and what we do. We're going beyond just learning experiences. We're going towards platforms, as I said, making things a bit more autonomous for you. We do the heavy lifting. We find the technologies and the experiences that could really work, and we bring them into the veterinary context. With that, I will say thank you on behalf of myself and Greg in the back of the room.